I'm Julia from Wildfire Solutions CIC, and I thought that I would just hop on today and have a little chat about what we do and what we can offer across the board in Cornwall. So we are a small CIC and we specialise in advocacy, training and consultancy, and that can be for individuals, that can be for families, that can be for organisations, it could be to keep a person in work, it could be to support a person to access work, to access health services, to navigate their diagnosis and to understand more about themselves, but also to kind of dispel the stigma and the myths around autism, and to change and create better socio-economic outcomes for the autistic community. I'm a late diagnosed autistic woman. I was 42 when I was diagnosed, and even though I have a good grounding in understanding around autism, it was a bit of a shock to me when I found out that I was autistic, even though I have an autistic son, and had been teaching profound and multiple learning disabled autistic young adults for a number of years at that point. So my kind of reason for setting up this organisation was because I can really see that there is a gap in societal understanding, organisational understanding about what being autistic really is and the challenges that we might face, but also how do we navigate that? How do we navigate that as a society rather than just trying to not deal with it? So only 22% of autistic people are employed in any capacity whatsoever, but a lot of us would like to work more. Only 1% of graduates are autistic, and yet autistic people that I know are some of the cleverest people that I've come across. So why is that? How can we change that? How can we change the fact that 7 out of 10 autistic people report enduring mental health issues? And why are they experiencing those enduring mental health issues? Why is it that 9 out of 10 autistic women have experienced sexual assault at some point in their life? Why are they at greater risk of cuckooing? Why are they at greater risk of financial abuse or any form of abuse? And as a society, we don't necessarily ask those questions in the depth that we kind of need to. And some of that is about fear. That's about pushing those things away and saying, oh, it's really hard to deal with, and having a kind of stigmatised idea about what autism actually means. And let's face it, for every single person, it means something very, very different. Okay? So what we like to offer is advocacy. So working with an individual to access support in the way that works for them means that they are more able to take the benefits from accessing services and to engaging with services, to create relationships, friendships, to be able to go to work and stay in work and change those socio-economic outcomes for them, to believe in themselves more, to recognise the challenges that they face, but also to find solutions to them and walk through them instead of backing away because it all feels far too much. Working with organisations to look at strategically how are they operating around this particular group, and why are we not employed? Why are we not more employed? Because we are a really good community. We're committed, we're dedicated, fine eye for detail. There's a huge amount of things that we offer as a community that all industry, all corporations could actually benefit from. Why are we so adverse to engaging with health services? What is it about the health services that make things difficult for us? These are the things that we, as an organisation, would like to be working with different industry, different businesses, different statutory services to help them understand and to move forward positively and grow with the knowledge so that they are engaging in the community is engaging with them, and those socio-economic health outcomes increase for the community and everybody benefits. I don't see whether, why it would be a difficult thing. These are really good points that we can actually, there are solutions. There are things that we can do that will make these outcomes better. And actually, as a community, the same as every other person, we deserve it. We deserve to feel safe and secure. We feel like safe and secure within our employment. We feel safe and secure opening up to people. We feel safe and secure in our relationships, in our lives, in our homes, in the decisions that we make. So we're not constantly second guessing ourselves, not trusting ourselves because of past experiences. So as an organisation, Wildfire Solutions can support with that. We've already been working alongside the police, the NHS, social care, education to provide training, to provide consultancy, to provide advocacy for individuals, for groups, for training. We've already doing these things to great effect. Also working with individuals and seeing, the change in a person when they're validated, when they're understood, when they're heard, and it might be for the first time ever. Now, certainly we come across these statements that, since you got your diagnosis, you're a lot more autistic. Well, no, I'm not. I'm more my authentic self. I'm trying not to mask, because masking is massively unhealthy for anybody to do for long periods of time. But that's one of the stigmatizing comments that we might come up against. When we fear things, as a race, as humans, when we fear things, we back away from them. They make us feel anxious, and so we might disengage, we might be avoidant. But that means we might not be serving that portion of the community, that portion of society, in the same way as we're supporting and engaging with everybody else. And I'd like to see that change. I'd like to do it through shared understanding, sharing of knowledge, support, openness. It's okay to get things wrong. It's okay to find things difficult. We all do, but that's where we grow. So that's what we can do. We will offer bespoke training to your organisation, dependent on the needs of your organisation and what its modus operandi is, essentially. So I would not do things for the police that I would necessarily do for the NHS, because they are two different organisations with different reasons for being. But it's the same with an individual. Each client that I work with, or we work with, will be worked with in a bespoke way, person-centred, meeting that person where they are, not where anybody else thinks that they should be, because actually we know ourselves. And once we trust ourselves a little bit more, we're much more able to express that, and being worked with in a way that allows us to feel that trust, but also to feel freer and more comfortable explaining ourselves is really, really validating. It's really, really meaningful. And big change can happen really, really quickly when you work in that way. And I'm not just saying that, I've seen it time and time again. So this is a passion of mine. It's a passion of mine because partly it's my community, partly because I've done community development work across the board for a long, long period of time, and working with communities I have found to be one of the most invigorating things that you could ever do. And if you want to know what the problem is with a community, then you ask the community. If you want to know what the solution is, ask the community. Don't make assumptions. But are we asked? As a community, I'm not sure we always are or have been. And this whole stigma around, everyone's autistic these days. No, the diagnostic criteria has changed, the understanding has changed, and science moves. It's not exact. And we can, as a community, we can be part of supporting everybody else to create a holistically supportive environment for everybody. So it's not just about one portion. It's not just about, separating things out and everything has to be, all the time, taking into account and making sure that everything is autism friendly all the time and nobody can do this and nobody can do that. Everything has to fit within the structure and the service that we are within. However, there are very small adjustments that we can make, that we can support with, that can make such huge differences. So if you'd like to know a little bit more, if you'd like to discuss the needs of your organisation or needs of an individual, then please contact me, Julia, at wildfiresolutions.uk, and let's open up that conversation. Thank you.